What's going on, everybody? My name is Dalton Brown. I'm here with BC at BC_Houston1. You can find me on Twitter at Dalton on Sports. We are back with another episode of Touch 'em All for today, going through the entire MLB betting card presented by Sports Data Now. We've been logging our action there and taking part in a fun little summer contest there as well. Go check them out if you're looking for a good place to log your bets and track your stuff as you go along. They do an awesome job over there. Plenty of bets to get to today, plenty of games to get to today. The first game is actually starting in about 35 minutes. That's going to be the Cardinals and the Reds. But good to be back here in general. I know it's been a little over a week since BC and I last got to do a show together. I think we've got sound for both of us should be in pretty good shape today. We've got a lot of games to go to. I think about 10 in total. So should be a lot of fun. Hopefully we can win some money, and looking forward to diving in.
Sounds good. Fingers crossed my audio does not crap. If it does, then I'll just have to jump over to another computer. No biggie. How do I sound right now?
So far, so good.
Awesome. So if I'm looking down, it's because I had to close Word. I think we figured out that was the issue. And I'll be reading from a paper just like Dalton, except I typed mine, and he's going through 2 or 3 pins a week, putting his notes down on paper.
I like to handwrite. It's just what I do.
You're crazy.
All right, let's go ahead and jump in. We've got the St. Louis Cardinals at Cincinnati Reds, 12:35 Eastern time today from Cincinnati. I'm only about an hour and a half from Cincinnati. I can confirm it is warm and sunny, a little over 80 degrees here in Louisville. Very similar weather to Cincinnati. This total's actually dropped from 10.5 down to 9.5 overnight. Cardinals also were minus 170 last night when I was handicapping these games. They're now down to minus 125. On the mount for St. Louis will be Miles Mikolas. He's 2-1 with a 4.77 ERA. Luke Weaver will pitch for Cincinnati. He's 1-2 with a 6.54 ERA. I didn't have really an opinion on this game last night when I handicapped it. I didn't really have a side. I felt like the line was reasonable-ish. So after it's moved this amount, I am on St. Louis minus 125 on the money line. I'll kind of dive into why. Luke Weaver, expected ERA on him, 4.69, does suggest he's due a little bit of positive regression, but overall, this is just not a pitcher that I want to get behind. His baseball savant numbers, outside of his ability to avoid walks, are pretty poor. You look at his runs allowed by start. There's a clear trend here: 4, 6, 4, 4, 1, 4. So, what I take from that, he's probably going to give up 4 runs again today. That seems to be the norm for him. 7.88 ERA at home, a 10.4 ERA in the first innings. So don't be surprised if St. Louis jumps on him early here. Especially St. Louis, they don't want to lose 3 out of 4 in Cincinnati. I think they're going to come out with a good effort today. Is worth noting that the Cardinals lineup is without Arenado and Goldschmidt today. They are both getting a day off. Cardinals are pretty deep. Alec Burleson takes over at first base. He can certainly hit. Nolan Gorman's been on fire. Lars Nootbaar at the top of the order has been a really strong force for them. So I still believe in the Cardinals offense. Looking at the other side with Miles Mikolas, his expected ERA a little bit over 5. Eerily similar baseball savant page overall to Luke Weaver, but he's trending in a much better direction of late. He's got a 3.13 ERA in May, hasn't allowed more than 3 runs in any of his last 5 starts, and 3 of those 5 starts he's allowed 1 or fewer. The Reds did get to him a little bit last season. He does have an ERA over 6 for his career at Great American Ballpark. I think we'll see some runs on both sides here. What it comes down to for me, though, Mikolas, a little bit more polished, pitcher I trust a little bit more than Weaver. Looking at these teams against righties this season in WRC+, St. Louis ranks 4th, Cincinnati ranks 23rd. St. Louis has a small edge in the bullpen as well. So give me the pitcher with the better form of late, team that's hitting righties better overall, and the slightly better bullpen here. Minus 125, pretty cheap. I think St. Louis does not want to leave Cincinnati without picking up 2 wins out of the 4. Give me the Cardinals. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I added that this morning when you made me aware that there was a massive steam move on St. Louis. So I did jump on that. It's not on the official bets, but yeah, I'm with you on that. It's just too good a price to pass on the Cardinals when you're talking about such a hitting advantage from that side of the mound, and a slight pitching advantage. You're a little higher on Mikolas than I am, but a significant bullpen advantage. Michaelis, he had a really rough start to the season. Cards offense was also terrible. His number with his 4.77 ERA is a 5.36 expected, so he's probably not going to get much better. Pitching metrics have him in the bottom 10% expected ERA, whiff rates, bottom 20 in Ks and select. Basically, he doesn't miss bats, is what I'm trying to say. And he's very vulnerable to teams that hit for power. That being said, starts may have been pretty good. 3.31 ERA, 1.17 whip, 8 runs, and 23 pitched. So he's pitching well right now, but that's not going to really turn a corner. He's been in the league like 8 or 9 years now. He's always probably going to be that guy around a 4 ERA. But we will take advantage of him because the guy he's pitching against is not good at all. Luke Weaver, he's getting beat up by big league hitters. Pitching metrics are power hitting teams' wet dream. Suffice to say, 20% or worse, literally like everything on his Savant page. Deserved 6.54 ERA. His expected is 4.69. I don't see that happening today. The math doesn't actually add up to me at all, so we need to check that out. Reds offense, I mentioned before, Michaelis can be taken advantage of by teams that hit for power. The Reds do not hit for power, but they're the beneficiaries of a very generous ballpark and really great hitting weather so far the past few days, as you were talking about looking out your window. It's been really nice out there in the Buckeye State. I'm on the Cardinals today. I have them in the same game parlay. I posted on my Twitter. I've been very successful with them so far this week, using them. They're on a tear right now, especially against right-handed pitching. You mentioned the WRC plus. How about the highest expected batting average in the league versus the Reds' second lowest expected batting average? My concern is Michaelis could get lit up. Last season, he had an ERA over 9 in less than 10 innings pitched in 2 outings at that bandbox that is the Great American Park. So Cards' run line was my lean, but now it's gotten playable on the money line. Really nice hitting conditions, not concerned about travel. St. Louis, they're going to Cincinnati, or they're going from Cincy to Cleveland. That's like, what, a bus ride maybe? Uber? Probably not. It's like 4 hours, I think. But give me the Redbirds. I took their team total over 6. I got that at plus 105 last night. And again, go to my Twitter, BC_Houston1 for the same game parlay.
Sounds good. Looking forward to seeing that.
Yep.
All right. One more early day game today. We've got over in the American League, the Blue Jays and the Rays as they finish up their series from Tampa Bay, or more St. Petersburg today. Toronto turning to Alek Manoah on the mound against Zach Eflin pitching for Tampa in this one. Manoah so far this season 1-4 with a 5.15 ERA. Zach Eflin 6-1 with a 3.45 ERA. We are both on Tampa in a few different ways here. I think we're going to have a lot of the same points to make here. I'll let you go ahead and kick this one off.
Yeah. I really think the only thing I wanted to kind of get your opinion on is I'm team fade Alek Manoah right now. I thought he was just kind of off at the beginning of the season. Maybe he was adjusting to the pitch clock. Maybe the elbow had fired up again. You know, that was an issue for him last season. He missed some time for that. But I started watching his last 2 games, and I think the guy's just broken, honestly. He's lost his command. His walk rate is almost double his previous 2 seasons average. I remember one of the announcers on one of the games said that his StatCast numbers were down significantly from last season, so I checked it out. That's not really something I pay attention to unless I think we can take advantage of a pitcher who's hiding injury. And the guy's exactly right. Spin velo, all slower. Metrics, K rate, bottom 15, expected batting average, bottom 15, whiff, bottom 15. It goes on and on. 5.15 versus 6.5 expected. The dude's just not right. Just flat out. And Rays are one of the best hitting lineups in baseball. I think they're going to get after him pretty good today. Conversely, I like Eflin. I typically play Eflin most every start. It didn't work out for me in Baltimore and New York, but of course he was on the road, so I probably should have paid better attention to that. But I mean, he's still pretty solid. I think he can hold the lineup. A little unluckiness in those last few starts. I don't really have any new information about both these lineups that's going to surprise anyone. They're both capable of hitting off at anyone, 2 of the best lineups in baseball. But I do like the pitching mismatch here. So that is what I will jump on. I like the Rays first 5. I'm going ahead and laid the half run for even money. I don't trust the Rays bullpen. I'd be wary of the full game. I actually might look at a Toronto in game if it's close after the 5th and F1 leaves, because that Rays bullpen has just been really, really bad. Yeah, that's what I got, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree almost across the board. The way I played it, because I jumped on it early, and by the way, if you want to catch my early bets when they come in the night before, shoot me a follow on Action Network. That's where I'm usually posting those. Is to my action profile. But I grabbed Tampa Bay actually last night, first 5 innings money line at -130.
Nice.
I would also play them first 5 run line at even money or -115 or whatever it is. I completely agree on fading Alek Manoah. I did a write up on it for Betting Predators last night that came out about 2 in the morning when I finished up writing it. Look, Manoah, like you said, expected ERA 6.5, bottom 15% in most savant categories. Unfortunately for him, he's kind of the poster child for the theory that these heftier starting pitchers are struggling with the pitch clock. I don't know whether that's what it is or not, but it's just not something that's gone well for him so far this season. Tons of hard contact, walking a ton of hitters, not missing bats. And Tampa Bay's offense ranks number 1 in baseball in WRC plus against righties at 133, so that's 33% above average. They also already faced him once this season in Toronto, and they scored 7 runs on 9 hits in 4.2 innings. He also walked 4 batters in that game. 13 base runners in less than 5 innings for him against the Rays the last time he saw them. I also like Tampa Bay team total. I played it over 4 last night. I would also play it over 4.5. Toronto's bullpen also ranks 23rd in baseball with a 4.48 ERA since May 1st, so they've been pedestrian at best. I think the Rays are going to have a good offensive day today. I could easily see them putting up 6, 7, 8 runs. And like you said, right, Eflin's been good. 2.93 expected ERA. What I like about him a lot in a spot like this too, 2.7% walk rate, 31 to 2 strikeouts to walks in May. That tells me he's going to continue to be low variance, right? He's getting ahead of hitters. He's throwing first pitch strikes. Exactly the kind of pitcher I want to back in a spot like this. So Rays first 5. I'm also good with Rays first 5 money line. Rays team total over 4. I'm also good with it at 4.5. I think those are all playable numbers. I think Tampa should get after it pretty early here. Hopefully we've got several winners coming through on that game.
Yeah, I was going to tell. I actually didn't dive into the Blue Jays bullpen. I kind of stopped right there because I've been watching the Rays bullpen implode, and I know they got bad numbers right now. That's because they ran some position players out there the other day when they lost like 20 to something. Second largest marginal loss. So when you're looking at the Tampa Bay Rays bullpen numbers, you kind of have to take that out of the equation. I mean, there's no really way to do that. It's kind of like the Mexico series with those pitchers that were involved in that derby. I mean, just kind of keep that stuff in mind. What you're saying isn't necessarily how to play it, but you're exactly right. I think that team total is definitely worth a look. What do you think about where'd it go? Rays to score first, +110.
Let me answer that question in just a moment. Let me pull up.
So you can pull it up. I can't. Otherwise, it sounds probably going to go to crap.
Yeah. I mean, well, because, looking at some of the details on it, right? One of the notes that I've been taking is how guys are doing in the first innings as, what does that split tell us? I think the Rays are going to probably score in the first inning, right? So in that sense, I like it. Looking at Zach Eflin, 1.13 ERA for him in the first inning this year. He's allowed 1 run in 8 first innings. He's only allowed 2 runs in 8 second innings. So 1.13 first inning, 2.25 second inning. Teams aren't usually getting to Eflin until the second time through. Third, fourth inning have been a little more rough for him. So, Rays to score first, I think makes a ton of sense. Obviously, you're opening yourself up to a little bit higher variance when you're betting on a first inning or a score first type of bet. But I think it falls right in line with everything that we've talked about, and I think it's a good gamble. It's high variance, but I think it's a good bet.
Yeah, I'm adding it to my card right now. So I like that over 4.5. I was tempted to take 5 at +135, but I'll just keep it at 4.5. I got an even number on one of my books, so I think that's the move.
Nice. Yeah, cool. No, I think that makes a ton of sense. All right, cool. Next game is going to start at 3:10 Eastern time. That's the Miami Marlins and the Colorado Rockies from Coors Field as they finish up that series. I know you and I both hit a nice over on them last night as the Marlins offense came through for us with 10 runs. Marlins going to be minus 125 favorites today with Braxton Garrett on the mound against Kyle Freeland for Colorado. Over under 11. This was about 10.5 last night, so it's ticked up a little bit. Both these pitchers left-handed. Garrett 1-2 with a 4.60 ERA. Freeland 4-5 with a 3.88. I'm actually like moderately high on both of these pitchers. Not super high on either one. I don't quite have a bet here. I lean Miami. What do you got?
Hey, good morning to the Pig Vig. Joining us in the chat today. Hey, Corbin, hope you're having a good day. And finally, the solid Wi-Fi. Actually, it wasn't the Wi-Fi. It's Microsoft Word. Isn't that weird? Microsoft Word Office was open, and that was jacking everything up, man. But I hope you're having a great day, Pig. Thanks for jumping in. Right. Some lefty on lefty violence. Braxton Garrett, Kyle Freeland. You and I were texting each other last night. We both hit our plays. I had the fish team total. You had the full game over. We got there with very little sweat. I don't have that kind of certainty this afternoon. Kyle Freeland was pitching like a man possessed at the beginning of the month. Only 2 earned runs, an 18-inning pitch. 2 of those starts were at Coors, too, versus Philly and Milwaukee. It came crashing down in Arlington in his last start versus Texas. 8 runs on 9 hits. Didn't even make it out of the second inning. It's not super surprising, though. The Rangers' offense has been a wagon all month. A lot of same-game parlays have been cashing for me with Texas. Pitching better than expected. Those numbers are still strong, factoring the home ballpark. Braxton Garrett, he did the same thing, but kind of the other direction as Freeland. He got annihilated on May the 3rd versus Atlanta. 11 earned on 14, including 4 home runs. So that was his Texas game for Freeland. But after that, his next 3 starts, he only allowed 5 earned and 1 home run in 16 2/3. So he really cleaned it up. Pardon me. You take that start against the Braves out, he's a sub 3.5 pitcher, and the performance I think we get today versus the Rockies lineup, I think he's going to do well. They haven't been hitting left-handers very well lately. Going back to Freeland, 2 spectacular outings versus Philly and Milwaukee before he got curb stomped in Arlington. Those 2 teams right now are arguably the worst hitting against lefties in the month of May. Miami hits left-handing pitching pretty well this month, WRC plus in power. More importantly, they minimize strikeouts versus righties, top 5. So Freeland only looks like he was in good form because those 2 offenses are so bad against left-handing pitching right now. Garrett continues to stay in good form. Garrett should continue to stay in good form. The Marlins have proven that they haven't had any issues plating runs this series, 20 runs so far in 3 games. I think we get another good offensive show from Miami. Bullpen numbers, slight edge to Miami, usage of high leverage arms as well, which kind of call that a wash. I really like Miami in this spot. I got him at 120. I think you can still get him on the money line at that price. And then I like the team total over 6. I'll probably do a same game parlay on this one as well. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I definitely agree on Miami on the money line. I haven't quite gotten there yet, but I have a feeling this is going to end up making my card in the next couple hours. Like you talked about with Kyle Freeland, his last start was awful. Before then, he'd been pitching well. Overall, an expected ERA of 4.12 is very respectable for a Colorado pitcher. I don't think that's terrible at all. Neither one of these pitchers walk anybody. Which I think goes a long way, right? I mean, those extra base hits you're going to give up at Coors Field do a lot less damage when you're not giving out free bases. Neither one of these pitchers really walk anybody at all. Braxton Garrett, I'm pretty high on. I actually have him in my fantasy starting lineup today, even though he's pitching at Coors Field,
Nice.
because, like you talked about, Colorado 30th in baseball against left-handed pitching this season in WRC plus. They're just not hitting him at all. And if you look at Braxton Garrett, I mean, if you were to remove that 11 earned run start that he had against the Braves off his resume, he's really been great. And his ERA on the road this season, 2.52, really strong. Last 2 starts, 11 1/3, 16 strikeouts, 2 walks. That 16 to 2 or 8 to 1, because we like to reduce fractions here. That 8 to 1 K to BB over his last 2 starts, that's really encouraging to me. That tells me that he's missing bats. He's staying in the zone when he wants to be. So he's a guy in general that I'm buying in on. I think he's going to probably pitch well for a little bit of a stretch here. Miami has shown in recent years that they develop pitchers pretty well too. So I definitely like the pitching matchup for Miami. Marlins actually 10th in MLB against left-handed pitching
Nice.
this season so far in WRC plus too. So big advantage there. So yeah, I mean, I definitely lean to Miami. I like them first 5 or full game. I'll probably end up playing them full game on the money line. But I don't. It's funny. I think I like it a lot better at -120 than -125. That nickel really matters to me for whatever reason. So,
juice tolerance. Everybody's different.
yeah. So that's kind of where I land there. But all right, cool. On to the next one. San Diego Padres at Washington Nationals. I have 3 different bets on this game. This is going to be lefty Blake Snell, who's 1-6 with a 5.40 ERA, taking on righty Jake Irvin, who's 1-2 with a 5.50 ERA for Washington. San Diego -180 or -190 favorites, over under 9.5 in this one. This game is going to be a 4:05 start. It's our last day game on the card today. Kind of a day game, late in the day game here on the East Coast. I love Washington here against Snell. The Nationals are absolutely killing left-handed pitching. They're up to 7th now in baseball in WRC plus against lefties. They did it again yesterday to Ryan Weathers. They knocked him out of the game early, crushed him. They're a team that in general offensively has been pretty competitive, and especially against a lefty. You know, looking at Blake Snell, expected ERA around 6, 5.32 in May, 6 earned runs against Boston in his last start. He walks a ton of hitters. Blake Snell is either like pitching well or he's not at any given time. And so far this season, he hasn't flipped that switch and turned that corner. And when Blake Snell's going bad, he can go real bad. I think Washington should score some runs here. I also played Washington. I played Washington first 5 innings plus 150. I think that's great value for a team that I think is going to get after them a little bit in the first 5 innings. I'm also playing Washington first 5 innings over 1.5 runs. A little juicy at -160. I don't mind it at all. I think them getting to 2 runs in the first 5 innings, I think happens. So I'm willing to lay the -160 on them getting over 1.5 runs in the first 5 innings. I am also playing the overall first 5 innings over 4.5, which I got last night at -132. I would also play first 5 innings over 5 if that's the number you're getting instead, which is more what I'm seeing today. So I like Washington team total over in the first 5. I like Washington first 5. I like first 5 over. I think San Diego should score the first 5 innings as well. Jake Irvin, 6.87 expected ERA. He has looked like many of the Oakland A's starters have looked so far this season. You look at his, baseball savant page, it's horrifying. 6 runs each of his last 2 starts allowed, 8.49 home ERA. Warm day in Washington, light wind blowing out, good scoring conditions. I think both teams will score early. But San Diego 20th against righties in WRC plus, Washington 7th against lefties. Bullpens obviously lean San Diego in a big way. Since May 1st, San Diego's bullpen is number 1 in baseball. So if you get a live opportunity late and the game's close, I would take San Diego. But yeah, I mean, look, Washington first 5 plus 150. I just think it's worth taking a stab at the way they've been hitting these. But I'd say my best bet might be the first 5 over 5. I just think this should be a great scoring environment. I would love to see something like Nats 5, San Diego 4 at the end of 5 innings. I don't think that'd be too shocking at all.
No, not a real possibility. That's tremendous value on that money line at plus 150. And why not? I mean, Blake Snell has not been vintage Blake Snell anymore. 5.4 ERA versus a 5.94. It's just super depressing. He's been a career 3.5 ERA pitcher with great strikeout stuff for as long as I've been watching him pitch. He just fell off a damn cliff this season. Jake Irvin, he's been a gas cannon 4 starts. I remember last time you and I were on, I had mentioned about the Padres offense needing a slump buster. They were pitching against the A's. I forgot who was on the mound. Maybe it was Waldachuk. But they still didn't get there on the team total. So I don't know. The Pods, they probably should hang a few on Irvin, and then the bullpen for the Nationals, one of the worst in the league. Nats fly out to KC after this game. Dave Martinez, maybe I'm saving arms for more winnable series versus the Royals before probably getting slaughtered by the Dodgers after that. And they already got the series opener. If I'm Bob Melvin, maybe I'm going to do my best to win this game before flying to the Big Apple. Well, they're probably going to get crushed. And they'll be the top of the Yankees rotation, I think. Maybe Servino starts, but after that, I think they're at the top. I mean, I don't have a play on it. I do like that Nats first five or the Nats first five team total over. No one should be betting on San Diego right now. That was my initial lean, but I'll probably have something on it because honestly, it's going to be the only ball game on for a few hours before the evening game. So, I mean, I got to bet on something, right? But yeah, I'll probably just tell you on one of those Nats plays, but it's not going to make my official card.
Yeah, well, and one other note on the Padres, in the futures market, one of the bets that I think is absolutely worth making right now. I got it the other day at minus 120 at DraftKings. San Diego Padres to make the playoffs. Look, I get it, right? They haven't played all that well. They're not hitting. They're not winning, whatever. They're 22-26. There's a malaise there, whatever you want to call it, right? This team's really talented. And what really does it for me is I think a leading indicator of when a team is due for general negative regression or general positive regression is what they've done with runners in scoring position. San Diego is dead last in baseball at 184 with runners in scoring position. Let's just be real about it. That's not going to continue all season. They are eventually going to start hitting with runners in scoring position. That lineup's too good. And the idea that in these expanded playoffs where we get 7 teams in on, or what is it, 6 or 7 teams in on either side, San Diego being this close to even money to make the playoffs, I think now is the time to buy low on them in the futures market. So just something to note there as far as something that I would absolutely play.
Not low enough for me, man. Every week we come on and we say they should be better than this. They should be better than this. Maybe they just need to make it to the All-Star break and, figure it all out. We see that frequently. Teams always have much, much better second halves than first halves. And there's no doubt the talent's there, but I need plus money. I'm not laying any type of juice with this San Diego team. And if the floor really is minus 120, then that's fine. They can keep that. This Padres team has just underperformed so badly. Again, I'd have to have a plus number to have them go to the postseason at this point.
I have a feeling that when we sit down for one of these close to the All-Star break, you're going to be telling me you should join me, but we'll see.
Fair enough.
All right, next game down, Chicago White Sox at Detroit Tigers, the first of the night games tonight. This is a 6:40 Eastern time game. It's going to be Lucas Giolito on the mound for Chicago against Alex Fido for Detroit. I bet the under last night on this game at under 8.5 at minus 120. Chicago, by the way, favored. They were minus 135 last night, up to minus 150 now as of this morning. I don't have a strong feel on the money line. I just think both these starting pitchers are in pretty decent form, and both these bullpens are in great form. And obviously, Detroit is a great pitcher's park. So I like the under at 8.5. At 8, I don't feel quite as strongly about it. But I do still lean that way. And maybe if you can get 8 even money on an under, I like that too. Alex Fido, ERA for him, expected ERA for him around 3.5. He's been really strong, does not walk guys. A mixed bag in his Baseball Savant page, but really not bad overall. 3 runs allowed in each of his starts. I think he probably has a little bit of positive regression coming off of that. No more than 5 hits in any of his starts. 12 strikeouts to only 1 walk this year. So small sample size on him, but he's looked pretty decent. And the fact that he doesn't walk anybody makes me feel good about his chances of taking advantage of some of that positive regression that he's due. On the other side with Lucas Giolito, expected ERA for him about 3.7, pretty close to what he's done overall this season. This is a guy who I think has finally settled in as an above average, not a star, but an above average starting pitcher in the bigs. 2.88 ERA in May. He's been pitching really well. 26 strikeouts, 6 walks over 4 starts in May. You look at the earned runs, the runs allowed per game there, 1, 2, 4, 1. pretty good chance I think we get another 1 or 2 run outing today, especially given the way Detroit does not hit righties well. He's also 3-1 with an ERA of about 3.5 in his career at Comerica Park, so he's pretty comfortable pitching there. Looking at some of the platoon data here, White Sox 25th, Detroit 28th in WRC plus against right-handed pitching. Bullpens since May 1st, second and fourth best in baseball in ERA. I think this is a spot for pitching to shine on both sides. I like the under at 8.5. Simple handicap here, simple bet, hoping it comes through. What do you think?
Yeah, I was in between the under and maybe trying to be a sharp and take the Tigers. Like you said, Giolito, he's settled in pretty well. Pitching really well this month, actually, 2.88 ERA, 1.04 whip. Here's my concern about Gio and maybe the under is that his home and road splits are pretty noticeable. He started all but one start this month at home, and that start was away against the Royals, which isn't an offense to fear. The road splits 5.14 ERA, 278 batting average versus 70 points lower, 202 at home. Like I said, White Sox not hit righties well this month, been pretty inconsistent. I like Alex Faedo. He's got really good stuff. Excellent control of the slider, sets it up with a strong fastball. Doesn't walk anyone, top walk rate in the majors. Like you said, limits hard contact and keeps his exit velo down to an elite level. He should be pitching more as expected, 3.5 instead of the current 4.6, but he's young. He's only made 3 starts. He's going to be a pitcher we're going to want to back, I think, a little later in the season. I'm not quite ready to bet on him just yet, but I think he will stay competitive with Giolito today. Tigers offense, way better than righties than Chicago versus righties. Strikeouts, walks, WRC plus. Numbers aren't really strong. The K rate, they keep the strikeouts down. It's really kind of looking more like a coin flip on paper for me between the two offenses, and I like the value on Faedo over Giolito at home as a dog plus 120. I just can't get there yet. My concern is that Giolito could get touched up a little bit and Faedo as well. I mean, this probably comes in at the under, but not enough for me to get involved.
Fair enough. Sounds good. All right, moving onward. Orioles at Yankees, 7:05 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Baltimore plus 110, Yankees around minus 130 in this one, over under 9. It's going to be Kyle Gibson on the mound for Baltimore. Gibson 5-3 with a 4.27 ERA against Clark Schmidt for New York. Schmidt is 2-4 with an ERA of 6 even. I didn't have a bet here. I know you do. To me, these two starting pitchers, neither one of them inspires a ton of confidence. I think these are two offenses that I think are both pretty good. Two bullpens that have been pitching well. I just don't see a ton of separation between these teams. But I know you're looking at a plus money bet here, so I'm excited to hear about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a bit of a gamble, but go to Schmidt real quick. He doesn't pass the eye test on paper. 6 ERA, 1.47 whip. He got shelled by the Rays and the Rangers, so that ballooned his numbers. Look at the rest of his starts, and he's been pretty good, especially this month. 2 earned every start. Doesn't go deep. That's fine. Yankees bullpen, one of the best in baseball. I guess until Cordero gave up that 4 spot in the 8th last night. They were probably the best. I think they had the best ERA in baseball. I think Schmidt is the better option over Kyle Gibson. I've not been a Gibson backer pretty much his entire career, but he's in good form this month, except for a crap start versus the Royals. I always find myself on the wrong side of his starts going back to last year, so it might just be in my head, but I still like Schmidt better. I think the road numbers are as well for Gibson. Don't favor him today as well. I favor the Yankees lineup more than the Orioles lineup right now. Look at the history matchup. The New York hitters have done pretty well versus Gibson in his career. I'm not trying to get in the way of the Yankees against right-handed pitching right now either. They're going to win big today, or they're going to blow it like they did last night, giving up 8 in 1 inning. Catch my team total, though, for the Orioles, so I'm happy about that. But I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice here. You can get the Yankees on the run line for a nice plus 150 payout. There's no reason that Schmidt can't hold the Orioles down. The bullpen can't carry it the rest of the way, all last night aside. And this Yankees lineup can't get after Gibson as they've proven they can in the past. So yeah, Yankees run line, big 150 payout. Let's do it.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, I don't hate the idea of, chasing a nice plus money payout on an offense that has had explosive tendencies. So makes
Oh
sense
yeah.
to me. Philadelphia Phillies and Atlanta Braves. The Braves are coming off of losing 2 out of 3 to my beloved Los Angeles Dodgers. Enjoyed that series quite a bit. Was almost a sweep, but not too upset about last night. They'll take on Philadelphia today, who comes in for a 4-game set. Even money both ways here, about -110 each direction, over under 9.5. Aaron Nola pitches for Philadelphia. He's 4-3 with a 4.31 ERA. Dylan Dodd has been invited back to the majors by the Atlanta Braves. He's 2-1 with a 6.46 ERA in Major League action this season. I'll go ahead and dive in here. I do have a bet on this one. I like the Philadelphia Phillies in the first 5 innings, -115 on the money line. Put simply, I think they should be a little bit of a favorite here in the first 5 innings. I'd make them -135 or -140. I like the value on laying only -115. Aaron Nola expected ERA closer to 3.5, so he's due a little bit of positive regression. ERA around 4 in May. Look, he hasn't been dominant this season. More often than not, he goes out there and gives up 2, 3, 4 runs. And his numbers against Atlanta are just okay, right? He's 3-7 with an ERA around 4 at Truist Park. 15-10 ERA in the mid-3s for his career against the Braves. So nothing terribly special there. But this is a guy who will pitch deep into the game. Even when he gives up some runs, he's always going to give you 6 or 7 innings. I think we're probably looking at 6 or 7 innings, 3 earned for him here. Normally, I'm not enthusiastic about playing a team like that in the first 5 innings. The reason I feel differently here is just Dylan Dodd on the other side for Atlanta. This guy, he's made 3 major league starts this season. They've all gone really poorly. 15 in the 3rd innings pitched, 11 earned, 24 hits, just 7 strikeouts and 4 walks over those 15 innings as well. He's not missing any bats. He's getting hit hard. He's walking some hitters. And what really does it for me, you look at 3 of his last 4 starts at AAA Gwinnett, he's allowed 5 or more earned runs in 3 of those 4, all coming since April 28th. So it's not like he got sent down to AAA, figured something out, has been pitching really well, and now is getting called back up. He got sent down to AAA, is getting hit just as hard as he was in the majors. Even in his last start at AAA, he was taking on the Memphis Redbirds. He pitched 4 innings, didn't allow a run, but they had 6 base runners. So
Jeez.
You tell me. I mean, I think this is just a spot where Philly's offense, I know they haven't been hitting lefties all that well. I just don't think it matters here. I think they're going to get after Dylan Dodd. I don't think he's ready for the bigs yet. Aaron Nola, while I'm not super bullish on him, he is due some positive regression. I think he's clearly the class of these 2 starting pitchers. And it's not like Atlanta crushes righties. Atlanta's 18th against right-handed pitching this season in WRC+. So for me, this is just – we've got a pitcher with a much better pedigree overall. I don't think these offenses are all that far apart. They've looked a bit far apart at times this year, but we know Philly can hit. And Dylan Dodd, this is a guy where until further notice, when I see him take them out of the majors, I'm assuming 5 earned runs are coming. So give me Philly here, first 5 innings. I don't hate the idea of firing on an over here, but I like Philly in the first 5. I think that's the angle to go with.
Yeah, that's actually my strongest lean on this game. I didn't put it in my best bets, but I'll read to you here in a second. But no, I like Nola. He's been in good form this month. His versus expected ERA shows he might be getting closer to 2022 form when he was the number 2 starter in last year's World Series as a runner-up to my Houston Astros. So fun when you and I both get to shit on the Phillies at the same time. He faces Braves lineup, does not hit righties well, bottom 15 WRC and WOBO. They just finished a hard-fought series versus LA. They were beneficiaries of some luck in that series, you and I talked about. Dylan Dodd, several welcome to the majors moments. I don't want to be unfair to Dodd. Excuse me. He's starting out of necessity. Atlanta is dealing with injuries to Max Fried, Kyle Wright, Ian Anderson, so on. More arms in the bullpen. It's surprising the Braves are doing as well as they are win-loss wise, considering they're lost so many of their top arms. So he's getting stuck in there. 6.46 ERA to a 7.727 expected. He could have some success holding down the ponies early, I think. I mentioned before in a previous cap, Philly is not hitting left-handed pitching well at all right now. You don't seem to think that matters because Dodd's stuff is so bad. You look at his metric and his pitching profile on Savant, and I can't argue that at all. I can't argue against that. My only concern with Nola is the home runs. He's given up one home run in each of his last 6 starts. In fact, he's given up one home run in every start but 2 this season. The Braves, third most home runs in the league behind Dodgers and the Rays. Philly's bullpen has been improved. Both bullpens, I think, are actually probably a wash. I should keep the Braves under control. You got a double-digit wind blowing in from Truist Park. I know it sounds crazy with these lineups with a rookie on the mound who's getting lit up, but the under might be a sneaky play here in the first 5. If you like Nola to keep the ball in the yard and the Phillies to continue struggling against lefties, Braves continue to struggle against righties. I thought I might have a play on this. It's going to be Nola or nothing for me because at the end of the day, you're talking about a veteran against a rookie, all other things being pretty close to equal, and you can get him at minus 115. So if you're on it, that was my lean. I'm gonna go ahead and take it as well.
Sounds good. One other note here too, because a lot of times what you'll find at American sports books like DraftKings or FanDuel or what have you, they like to offer these boosts on your fee or nerfy bets. This is a great spot if you want to bet yes runs first inning. Atlanta's the number 1 offense in the league in first inning scoring. Philadelphia is 8th. Both of these pitchers have had a tendency, if you're going to get to them, you get to them early. So just a little angle there that I think is worth mentioning. If right now, the last I saw yes run first inning here was like close to minus 150. I'm not saying I would bet that, but if you get a boost, you can get this down like minus 125 or less on yes run first inning. Probably an angle I'd look at too. All right, Mets at Cubs. I don't have a whole lot of a strong handicap here, only because Kyle Hendricks is making his first start of the season for Chicago. Game's pretty close to a pick 'em either way. I know you're fading Carlos Carrasco. I like that. I'm going to be targeting a Cubs team total here. So go ahead and take it away.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't even bother fully handicapping this game. That's the one nice thing about getting a guy who hasn't pitched in over almost a year, making his debut again, even an old crafty veteran like Kyle Hendricks. Interestingly enough, he is the last remaining member of that Cubs championship team that broke the Black Sox curse. So, Cookie Carrasco on the mound. Cubs team total is out, and I am all over it. Significant winds blowing in should limit the long ball today, but I don't give a damn. Carrasco's been an absolute gas can. 4 starts, earns runs went 5, 6, 2, 5, 8.68 8.68 ERA, higher than is expected, which is still 7, which is still terrible. Chicago's been plating runs this series despite the wind blowing in double digits every game, so I'm not really concerned about that. Mets bullpen collective ERA just went over 4. They used 4 or 5 relievers in each of the last 2 games. I think they probably save it. Just running Carrasco out there. Clearly, you're looking forward to your next series, which they should be. They're going to Colorado to play a weak Rockies team. So I'm on the Cubs team total over 4. You can get it for even money. And, of course, I'm going to be on my boy Chris Morel, hottest hitter in baseball, I think, right now. He's had a hit in every start this month. So he's been absolute money. He's still only getting priced 120, 125, which is bizarre to me. But that's been just easy money every single day. Full game again, stay away. Kyle Hendricks reinstated off IL. We don't know what to expect from him. So, yeah, Cubs team total and then some Morel props. And I'm a happy guy.
Yeah, I think I'm close to joining you. It's just the 54 degrees with 17-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight in that keeps me off of it. It just scares me away a little bit. But
it's been similar weather the past 2 days, though. And they still scored, how many runs?
Well, they scored 4 yesterday. It was 4-2 yesterday, and I got burned. I had the over at 6.5.
Hold on.
But I'm close. I'm close, but that Wrigley wind, it scares me sometimes. So
11 runs. They got 7 in the first game and 4 in last game.
Yeah.
And that was against let's see, it was 7 against the Met starter. That wasn't Senga. He got moved to the previous day. Tyler McGill.
And then
Tyler McGill is not a good pitcher, but he's better than Cookie Carrasco. Kodai Senga, much better pitcher than Cookie Carrasco. And they still got 4 on him. Now you're giving me 4 with Carrasco at even money? That's a no-brainer, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike it at all. If you told me I had to place a bet on this game, that's the bet I'd place. I'm just not. I don't know if I don't think I can quite do it yet. The cold and the wind blowing in scares me, but I like it. I like it. All right, next one down. This should be really quick. Giants at Brewers. Giants minus 125, over under 9. I haven't checked, obviously, since we started the show, but Giants going with a bullpen day. Scott Alexander starting. He'll open it up. Their bullpen has been better of late. Problem is, we don't have a starting pitcher for Milwaukee yet. I can't really handicap a game if I don't have a starting pitcher. So that's all I got. This game exists, and keep an eye on our Twitter accounts, and maybe we'll put something out. You don't happen to have anything here, do you?
No, I'm checking the Brewers website right now, see if they've got news. Devin Williams, no rotation. Looks like they're trying to figure out Luis Urias is going to return. He's not a starter. No, I don't know. Adrian Hauser looked great last night.
Yeah, I can't figure him out.
He's down the Astros, which actually really isn't hard if you throw from the right side of the mound.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's just nothing here yet, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll try to jump on that. It's a late game anyway. Y'all just check our Twitter accounts. As soon as some pitchers get announced and some lineups get finalized, we'll let you know what's going on with that one.
Yeah. All right, last game on the card tonight. I think we both have action here. The action will not surprise any of our viewers. Oakland A's at Seattle Mariners. Mariners gigantic favorites as anybody is against Oakland these days. Over under 7.5. JP Sears pitches for Oakland against Logan Gilbert for Seattle. We are both on Seattle in different ways. I'll go ahead and run through the handicap. I'm on Seattle team total over 4.5. This is an auto bet for me pretty much every single game. If you offer me over 4.5 runs with any team on the team total against Oakland, I will be betting it. It's been hitting about 80% of their games this season. JP Sears has been better than some other Oakland starters. Expected ERA for him around 4.5. That's still not great, though. He did throw 6 shutout innings against Seattle on May 3rd. Okay, good for him, but this is second time seeing them in less than a month. Now he's on the road. Look at his last 3 starts, 5 earned, 3 earned, 2 earned. Any of those numbers, I think, get us there because Oakland's bullpen is horrendous. Middling savant stats for JP Sears. He doesn't walk anybody. I'll give him that. But he's not a guy who I expect to pitch deep into the game. Seattle's offense has been playing pretty well in this series. I think they should get after him a bit here. I think Seattle probably gives us 3 runs or so over the first 5 against Sears, and I think the bullpen comes in and more than does the job. So I like him in that sense. I also have a strong lean and will probably be betting Seattle minus 1.5 here, especially now that that's down to minus 110. Logan Gilbert, 3.09 expected ERA. He is due some positive regression. ERA in the low 3s in May. 6 innings, 2 earned at Oakland on May 3rd. 29 strikeouts and 5 walks for him in May. That's certainly encouraging. ERA in the low 3s at home. So not a guy who allows a ton of base runners. Really strong pitcher overall. When you take a team like Seattle that's clearly way better than Oakland, you give them the better starting pitcher on the mound. You give me this team total at 4.5. I'm going to bet team total over. I'm probably going to bet Seattle run line. I know you are at least somewhat in agreement. What do you got?
Only slightly, my friend. Only slightly. No. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go to bat for JP Sears. And typically, I don't even bother handicapping the pitching aspect of the Oakland A's unless I'm figuring out who to put in the same game parlay against. They're just so bad top to bottom. That being said, JP Sears is only one guy that does a decent job holding it down for Oakland. He's got a sub-5 ERA, expected 4.5. He gets a decent amount of strikeouts. The chase rate is good. He limits hard contact and is elite at not issuing free passes. The Mariners don't hit the ball hard. They're not a power team by any means. He comes in good form, only allowed 9 earned and 22 and 2/3 and pitched this month. And honestly, it was only one start versus the Yankees. He gave up 5 earned and 3 home runs. Otherwise, he's got numbers that you might actually consider him a candidate for AL Pitcher of the Month. No bullshit. He's been one of the bright spots, I should say, and that's really it. Esteury Ruiz and Brett Rooker's hitting, and then JP Sears pitching, and that's pretty much it. You can throw the rest of the team in the trash. A's cannot. This isn't basketball. This isn't where 3 guys can carry a team to the playoffs. And the A's are indeed tied with the 1932 Red Sox for the worst start in a 50-game set. They're 10-41 now, as a matter of fact, because they lost last night, of course. So I think JP Sears might be okay. Logan Gilbert's been solid. He's a bet on pitcher. 3.81 ERA versus 3.09 expected. 9 earned in 24 1/3. So he's in great form, actually. 1 home run in that span. And he just had a 9 strikeout performance versus Atlanta. Remember, we were talking about Atlanta struggling against righties, so take that for what you will. I think Sears can keep them competitive in the first 5. The Seattle is not lighting the world on fire at the plate right now. Ultimately, the game should get away from them in a hurry after the 5th. Give me the Mariners on the run line, -1.5. I think the bullpen blows it up like they've done the other 30-something games. I got it at 110. I think you can still get it at 110. That's good value for me. I've got more faith in Sears than you, I think. But I think this game's lost in the back half.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree on Seattle -1.5. The only the pushback I'd give on Sears and the pitch of the month talk and all of that, it almost doesn't matter if he pitches well, right? Because he's been pitching well in May, and yet their opponents have gone over their team total of 4.5 in 4 of JP Sears' last 5 starts. It's just anytime you give me over 4.5 on a team total against the A's, I'm going to bet it. 427. I mean, I'm just going through his last 5 starts, right?
Yeah, I'm ready to right now.
Yeah, April 27th, they allowed 8 runs to the Angels. May 3rd, Sears started. They allowed 7 runs to Seattle. May 8th, Sears started. They allowed 7 runs to the Yankees. May 14th, Sears started. They allowed 11 runs to Texas. And May 20th, Sears started. They allowed 3 runs to Houston.
Right, but Sears didn't give up those team totals. His bullpen did. Only once against, like I said, against the Yankees did he give up more than 4. Well, I'll take that back. He did have the Angels got him for 6, but otherwise he's been able to do his part to keep it to manageable 2-3 runs. It's the bullpen that blows it, and that's kind of the point of the handicap. I'm not saying that your team total is not going to get there. It's not going to be early. Put it that way.
No, I get it. I mean, JP Sears has been good by Oakland standards, but I think it's for me, it's a fate of Oakland staff as a whole, right? And if JP Sears were like Zach Gallen, I'd be like, okay, that's going to scare me away from fading the staff as a whole. But he's still a 4.57 expected ERA on the season. Like good by Oakland standards is still below average by league standards. And to me, I'm taking an average to below average starter, pairing him with the worst bullpen in baseball. It's just this bet with Oakland. I mean, it's just like I said, it's an auto play for me. I mean, it's literally hit. I think like 38 or something out of 50 games. Their opponents have scored 5 or more runs. So I just can't help myself. But that's my only counter argument there is like even though JP Sears has been pitching okay of late, they just give up runs. It's just what the team does. Some of it's their defense, some of it's the bullpen. I'm just going to keep riding that one until the wheels fall off.
Well, I mean, it's making money for you. Why not, right?
But yeah, good stuff. I'll go ahead and run through my best bets, and then we'll run through yours, and we'll call it a day. I'm on the Cardinals -125. That game is already underway from Cincinnati. We're 0-0 mid-second inning there. Tampa Bay, first 5 innings, -130. That game starts up pretty soon. I also would play them on the first 5 run line. No problem at all. Team total over 4. over 4.5, good too. San Diego, Washington, first 5 innings, over 4.5 or over 5. Washington, first 5 innings, plus 150 on the money line. Washington, first 5 innings, team total over 1.5. No problem laying minus 160 on that. Chicago White Sox, Detroit Tigers, under 8.5. Philadelphia Phillies, first 5, minus 115. And my beloved team total against the A's, Mariners team total over 4.5. Go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah, what I've got is I'm getting frustrated. I can't get Morel outright on a hit again. I got to put him in a same game parlay. Wonderful. My best bets for today. Give me the Cardinals team total over 6 plus 105. Give me the Rays first 5 minus a half even. The Fish money line minus 120, and I like the team total over 6 even. Swinging big on the Yankees run line plus 150. Cubs team total over 4, probably my favorite bet today, next to the Fish money line. And then the Mariners run line minus 110. I do agree with you on that. I did add the Phillies first 5 money line minus 115. I did add the Rays over 4.5 even, and I do like them to score first plus 110. Those are all the agreements I have with you. Call them the touch 'em all specials.
Sounds good. Awesome. Well, good stuff today. Thanks everybody who tuned in, and thanks Coach John Borger and Big Vig for popping in with some comments. We will be back soon with more best bets and more touch 'em all. We'll try to do these shows a little bit more regularly moving forward. But excited to see how today's bets turn out. I think we're both feeling pretty good about it, and let's enjoy some baseball.
All right. Good luck, everyone.